Hello everyone. Now that the mains 2025 is over, the 2026 season has begun, and we're trying to understand the mains papers and the way it evolved. One of the major complaint is how the optional papers are evolving and how it is a challenge now to figure out what does it take to improve our scores. Along other optionals, we were also trying to understand sociology, and as a part of that, I've got an opportunity to talk with Janardhan sir, who handles sociology and mentors a lot of students. So we wanted to see how the subject is evolving in the examination and what does it take for the 2026 aspirants to handle this subject and score 280 plus. So the stage is yours, sir. So please explain the overall agenda here and your observations and insights about how sociology is evolving as a paper.
Yeah. Thank you, Vikas. See, nowadays in UPSC, especially in the context of optionals, it's not the time where people are targeting 350 marks, 330 marks. The times have changed. Now, a reliable or a practical score would be around 280 plus marks. The 270 to 80 plus range, targeting that range is much more feasible in present times. Similarly focusing on GS, balancing with your optional preparation, that would be much most important thing. Coming back to sociology. Sociology as the subject itself, it is highly dynamic in nature, but very much you can relate many themes which are happening in general day-to-day newspapers and all those things. In spite of its dynamism, there is enough chance for scoring very high. High in the sense I was referring to 280 plus range. In recent times, when we are talking about optional papers and the students who come to mentorship, generally there are, in fact, Vikas might have also seen that there will be
actually, even in my experience, not just, it's very obvious, like there are two kinds of aspirants. One who do not have mains experience, multiple prelims or even freshers, and the other categories, those who went to personality test and yet they had to come back because of
better scores.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, we cannot go with a one-size-fits-all approach. So both these category of students have their own set of challenges. So what do you think those will be and how should they adapt?
Yeah, I'll go step by step. Considering the freshers or the people who have not written mains, generally the main problem with those students is who have not written mains yet, they will try to focus exclusively or more importance they're going to give on thinkers. The chapter 4 in paper 1, that they will be very much focusing on learning different concepts related to each set of thinkers. But the UPSC is changing its pattern. For example, if you look at the last 3 years papers, they are focusing mainly on other chapters other than the thinkers. If you see the first 3 chapters in paper 1, sociology, the discipline, sociology as science, sociology, research methods and analysis. Just in these 3 chapters, 2025 paper, if you observe, they have given 120 marks. The similar pattern you can see from the last 3 years also. They have given 8 questions continuously. And not just on the thinkers. No doubt thinkers are important. No doubt about it. Thinkers are applied everywhere in our subject. But if you observe the patterns, the way in which the UPSC is demanding, from the first 3 chapters, weightage is consistently increasing. And not only that, apart from the thinker chapter, if you go to the other chapters in paper 1, for example, from chapter 6 to chapter 10 in paper 1, the weightage is consistently increasing. So, if you go to 10 years back or 20 years back, heavy weightage used to come directly from thinkers. Thinkers are like heart and mind of the paper. That's not the case now.
Why do you think that change happens?
Because maybe the UPSC is evolving according to meet the new needs. Just reading one chapter, thinkers, and understanding thinkers, dumping the same concepts because students are referring the same notes. UPSC also will do market research.
Can you help me understand with an example?
Definitely. I have taken some of the student examples also. For example, if you understand, let us take one thinker like Marx.
Okay.
If you take Marx, any person who has completed the classes, he understands the syllabus keywords. These are the keywords given in our syllabus copy. So they talked about, within Karl Marx, they talked about historical materialism, mode of production, class struggle. All these are the themes they have given. If you take any answer paper, most of the students will write same point if the question is on historical materialism, or the question is on mode of production, or the question is on class struggle. they elaborate with the same points, unfortunately. This highlights a lot of conceptual gap. When the students, when they are preparing, they need to understand the demand of the question. All three are not same. Of course, they are related, but they are not same. But the answers you will find, whether it is historical materialism or these things, most of the points would be similar. So this has to be avoided. And in fact, when students are completing coaching also, when they are completing their coaching itself, especially freshers, they are unable to relate many concepts that is required in the examination. For example, if again Marx, just I am explaining in a quick manner with one thinker, if you take that this is the stages of evolution as far as Marx is concerned, these are the stages of evolution of history. Then he talks about, everybody knows that Marx is a big critic of capitalism. That is there. But Marx highlights that he wants the growth of capitalism so that the next stage would be communism. In spite of a huge critic, Marx wants the development of capitalism because only after this communism will develop. Why so? Why did he talk like that? How you are comparing Marx understanding with other thinkers, not only just thinkers, how you can apply these Marxian concepts or Weberian concepts in Indian context, because the new dynamism is asking about application in Indian society also, not just paper 2. They are asking how this is suitable in Indian context in paper 1. So you need to relate. This can happen very easily once the student has conceptual clarity. We can also see, as you have asked, some of the answers written by the students, how they are explaining the concepts. And see, this is one of the good student.
Okay.
And probably he wrote mains this time, but let us see many mistakes in the beginning. The question is about, with respect to describe the basic postulates of scientific method. So in this question, he was unable to clearly, he may know, but he has to clearly articulate. He didn't articulate the difference between value-free sociology, objectivity, value neutrality. See, if an examiner reads your answer, he himself gets doubts. That should not be the case.
Can you elaborate on that? What
Yeah.
do you mean examiner will get it out?
See, when you are writing, suppose sociology as a science, let's say, objectivity in sociology, is sociology a science? Such is the questions which are being asked. Now, you can't argue with part understanding that saying that sociology is a science, is developed like that, but meanings, motives, they are also important. Non-positivism is also there. By this argument, are you going to say that non-positivism is not a science? That creates. The examiner knows what is the actual subject, but your argument will lead him to think that you don't have that conceptual clarity.
So you mean to say it's a problem of communication?
Problem of communication and understanding the concepts also. Unfortunately, what is happening is there are many students who are hardworking. After completing the syllabus also, after completing syllabus in the sense coaching and all those things, classes and all those things, they are struggling to understand the difference between social fact, social action, social system. These are basics, direct keywords mentioned in the syllabus. After completing the classes itself, they are unable to understand what each thinker told, or how different perspectives developed in power, or how to look or understand in a sociological manner with respect to religion. So that approach is missing. So when a new question comes, because of the sometimes dynamic questions comes, when new question, applied question comes, without conceptual clarity, the student may not be able to answer in the given time frame in the examination. So that challenge we have to. And one of the other mistakes, as you are asking about difficulties faced by the students,
Right.
the students won't practice much as far as optional is concerned, especially in this time period, September, October, till Jan. So they think that let's think about optional post prelims. Let us make the notes.
Interesting point.
Yeah, and they think about it post prelims.
Right.
That's not the case.
Actually,
Yeah.
Janardhan has actually raised a very important point, because even in my observation in the past many years as a mentor and my interactions with people who eventually went into the services, for example, All India Rank 11 Shivani this year, she was mentioning about the same point, how the entire aspirant community is literally in a snooze mode from September till December end. The sir is also interestingly raising the same
Yeah.
point. So you
Yeah.
tell me what we
This
should
is
be
the-
doing about
This
the
is
same.
the right time to focus. Apart from along with your GS mains preparation, of course, prelims is important, no doubt about it. That anyway you have to do from Jan or Feb.
Right.
But this is the time where you have to practice daily answer writing or with respect to building concepts in optional, because after January there will be a gap of 4 months,
Correct.
and you have to immediately post prelims, immediately time won't be there for extra preparation. It is more like a revision.
Also,
yeah.
one more point is that previously
Yeah.
we used to have at least 110 plus days for.
Now things are changing.
Now it's literally 80 days.
Yeah, things
and
are
the first 15-20 days go away in
Yeah.
the discussion of cutoff, no
Yeah.
matter how
Yes.
good they are.
Yeah. Lot of
Prelims is
pressure.
becoming very uncertain.
Yeah. So the beauty with respect to sociology is once you hold certain key concepts, not just thinkers, there are certain key areas in every main topic of our sociology subject. Once you understand them clearly and do the PYQs or the related concepts, write it before and keep it ready. Once you understand, it's not difficult for you to reproduce them even after post prelims, even after this gap, because there are few things which you catch hold of them, it's very easy to reproduce at a later stage. These PYQs and last 10 years and some conceptual understandings, they will cover 60% of the syllabus. So that gives a very edge. So immediately if a student practices these 3 or 4 months, PYQs and other related concepts, makes the answers ready in a short forms and keep it ready and take a break for prelims, immediately post prelims, take 1 or 2 days break and revise all these things. In maybe 15 days, you can revise what you have done this 4 months hard work. In 15 days, you can revise 60% of the syllabus. That gives a very strong edge and boosts your confidence levels also. So that's the thing which people are missing in this area.
Okay, from a sociology standpoint,
Yeah.
as a teacher as well as a sociologist yourself, how would you view this phenomenon of students using AI for PYQs?
See, definitely technology is developing in its own way. It is helping us. But with respect to, because I also observe how AI is, in fact, questions are also coming, sociological understandings of these things. No doubt, definitely, whether you directly you copy from various notes or toppers notes or study the reference books, AI will definitely help you. But AI can't understand the demand of UPSC yet. So if you just dump directly the AI answers, AI is just collecting many things and dumping in front of you. Many AI answers, many points in between, they may show some irrelevance. That will freak the examiner. So you can't rely completely. It may work for GS sometimes because it's about evolving things, general studies, current affairs, lot of information is available.
You should know what to ask.
But yeah, prompting is there anyway. But with respect to conceptual understanding, definitely the demand of the paper, the demand of the examination along with conceptual understanding, that is required. Without that, you can't filter. So that is the things.
So you were also talking about how the first 3 chapters are important, and you were, while we were having the discussion initially, you showed me some questions as a proof. So maybe you can tell the students as well.
See, if you look at 2025 paper, look at this 2025 paper itself, I have marked. These marked things are only from the first 3 chapters. I'm not saying that first 3 chapters are only covering the whole paper. It's not like that, obviously. But if you observe, they have given, this is 2025 paper 1, 3, 4, 5, and some of them are even 20 marker questions also. Hypothesis. Okay, 7. They have totally given around 9 questions. If you combinedly mark like what is sampling, this is from chapter 3. So this itself is covering around 120 marks in the recent 2025 Sociology paper 1. Not only that, if you observe other questions also, thinkers are used everywhere. I am not against that importance of thinkers. Obviously, thinkers are very important in sociology. They are asking applied questions. If you look at other questions also, they are asking nature between science and religion. Here also you will use thinkers. But the framework, rather than focusing on chapter 4, it has shifted to other chapters of the paper, and they are pushing you to apply the concepts which you have learnt.
Okay.
So in that manner, unfortunate thing what they do is, in the present, see, almost every student read the same type of notes which is available in the market. So the content is missing here because it was previous kind of backlog will be there. Yeah, that application, that's a gray area for the students.
So this is not just true for sociology, but I've observed this with my interactions from various experts in their respective fields. Gray areas where students usually don't focus initially, like I'm presuming the first 3 chapters form the basis of what sociology actually is about.
Yes.
And usually it is very difficult to write answers without a conceptual base.
Yes.
The same is true for anthropology, PSIR, philosophy, any optional, it's true. And the pattern is very obvious. So for example, if I have to sum up the problem statement of why people are not scoring, is it safe to say that one, lack of fluidity in switching between paper 1 and paper 2, like paper 2 concepts being asked in paper 1 and vice versa.
Definitely.
There is lack of ease in handling them.
Actually, one of the best way of looking at this is, you have to use paper 2 examples in paper 1.
Alright.
And paper 1 theories, definitely they have to apply it in paper 2. That's not the only way, but one way. So that increases, and questions are also being asked like that. And another big mistake done by students is, especially in paper 2, they feel that the questions asked in paper 2 are too generalistic and they write answers like GS.
Right.
That is not the case, because it is academics who evaluate our optional papers. So that difference you have to. You can see 2 types of extremes in students' answers. Some of the students who referred many things, they dump thinkers everywhere. They start with thinker, end with thinker. They will not leave thinker.
There's no coherence.
Without considering the demand of the question.
Alright.
Another set of students never bother about thinkers.
Okay.
They approach the answer too journalistically. It's not only about thinkers, it's about sociological language.
Okay.
The keywords which you have to use. The framework is different when compared to a GS. A new education policy in GS2 is different when it is asked in sociology paper 2. Because you need a whole sociological imagination, sociological approach is required. Without that, marks may not improve.
So what are your final suggestions for the students?
Final suggestions is, pattern is changing. That is changing for our good. It is turning more applied. So if you observe the changes and change your preparation according to the demand of UPSC, it would be much more easier for your preparation. And plan in advance. Write mains answers, PYQs, have conceptual clarity. Talk to people who are good in the subject. Clarify your doubts. Have conceptual clarity. Because you need to fill that gap with respect to that February, May, where you are much more focused on prelims. It's not that once you understand the concept, you will not remember. It's not about your memory. It's conceptual clarity that will kick back you very quickly. You can get back to your optional preparation post prelims. So these areas you have to focus upon and get the knack of each chapter.
One last question, sir. Because VKS and how we go about it, you usually know that we stand for adding value to the students and creating that element of trust. One of the way a sociology course or any optional course is marketed is the syllabus is short, it's easy to understand, and a lot of innocent aspirants take the bait. I want you to give me an honest assessment of what does it take to score well in sociology. How much time do you expect from a candidate who has a decent flair for writing and interest towards the subject to clear this exam?
Definitely. See, things apart, if you look at the subject as a whole, the chapters or the syllabus which is mentioned to us, that may relate to us, day-to-day society, religion, power. So, rather than, of course, it is a positive thing, but the negative aspect is you too generalize. There is a tendency towards more generalization, which has to be avoided. The terminology on it, the student should have command. And you are aspiring to be topping an examination which has very high competition.
Right.
If all students are dumping the same thing, that will not give you an edge. Ultimately, it is 0.1% who gets selected.
Correct.
So that your answers, your conceptual depth, that has to be shown clearly in your answers. Otherwise, everybody will get marks. 220, 230 in sociology is cakewalk.
Okay.
Because nothing is completely wrong in sociology. Because every person's understanding of society is right in one or other way. That may not hit the demand of the examiner. So we don't want 230.
Correct.
The target is 230 is good for you, for self-satisfaction. But it will not break you. It will not make your name in the list.
So how much time do you think we can do? Like,
See, so if given with the proper guidance, if you have, 4 to 5 months is a very good time, whether it is a fresher or whether it is a experienced student. In fact, experienced students, they have to unlearn a lot.
Yeah.
So when I ask students who completed coaching and preparing for mains and all these things, they are unable to distinguish between basic concepts, keywords given in the syllabus. So what is ideal type? They will give English explanation
rather than a sociology.
rather than actually what is the meaning of that concept.
Right.
So that gap has to be filled properly.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Fine. Thank you very much.
Taking your time out and explaining it.
Pleasure. Thank you. Right. All the best.